What's up, guys? It's Tyler Vaughn again here with Pathology Performance, and today we want to take a look at Kris Bryant's swing. Another one of those players that's just kind of exploded onto the scene and has continued to produce in a pretty big way. Love looking at his swing as compared to some of the other guys that we've taken a look at already. He starts a lot wider. He's got a wider base, but still, you still see the same general guidelines and general high points within the swing, and that's what I'm trying to stress to everybody is, I'm not here to build a cookie cutter swing. I'm not here to make guys get extremely uncomfortable to put them in a position just because it looks like some major leaguer. There's a lot of different starts, but what you're going to see is there's a lot of the same positions that every hitter or the majority of hitters get to, and I think that really provides the opportunity to be successful. So let's go ahead and start kind of crunching through this. All right, this is already mid-load where he starts. So he's got that weight shifted into that back leg. He's got a lot wider base, and sometimes that can be difficult to get that weight loaded onto that back side. But he does a good job of almost preloading a little bit of that weight back and then shifting back a little bit more to get that weight on the back side. You can see he's toeing the line on the back part of the batter's box there. And he goes ahead and he starts with his hands in a really solid start position there. So he's already pretty much in attack position there. If you look, you can see that, like I've talked about before, the hands are even or underneath that back elbow. He's got that nice angle to the barrel head, and he's really established a solid position as far as loading his weight into this back hip. That's where you see the majority of his weight right now. He's getting ready to stride out just a little bit with that front leg. He doesn't really gain a lot of ground towards the pitcher, but his front foot does slide forward just a little bit. And I think that establishes his opportunity to really hit that attack position at foot plant. So let's go ahead and take a look here as he moves forward into foot plant, and let's see what he does with his hands. All right, so his hands are back right now. He's in a solid position. All right, there's toe tap, and we're down into foot plant position. All right, now he's going to move into that weight transfer. You see the hips start to drive forward a little bit. There's the front foot opening, hitting that 45-degree type position. You'll hear a lot of pro guys talk about. All right, and as he started to generate that force there, you're starting to see that same stretch reflex happen. If I draw a little line through this, that's kind of where everything's starting to transfer. The hands are still back. They haven't come forward yet. All right, so let's keep on cruising forward. All right, the elbow has started to deliver, and if you look and you'll notice, those hands still haven't crossed that red line. They still haven't started coming forward yet. All right, so he started moving forward, getting a little bit of hip drive. He's generating that torque, getting a little bit of that stretch reflex. And now as the elbow comes through, you're going to start to see the elbow drive as the back leg comes with it. All right, and one thing that Kris Bryant does a great job of is as he generates his bat plane, you're going to see his back foot pretty much completely come off the ground. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's so successful in driving the ball is even though he starts wide, he does a really good job of getting that hip drive to generate that force forward. And now if you see, let me clear out all this madness here, if you see, we get that similar position there with that straight front leg, and we're almost to that same back L position there with that back leg. All right, so he's in a power position, his head's straight down the line of the pitch, and we've gotten the ball off the bat. All right, so let's rewind just a little bit here. And one of the things that I really love about his swing too is he does a great job of getting extension. Look at that right arm. His barrel is not out of the strike zone yet, and he's really extended through. And so he's been on plane, and he's been in this plane of the pitch for a pretty good distance. And that's something where guys with long arms, and some of the guys that I played with that have long arms just have a great ability to generate a lot of force because they have the ability to get more extension than someone with some arms that may not be quite as long. All right, so he does a good job of using his God-given build there to get that extension, to get the ball off the bat, and he's still not selling out and rolling over with his hands. All right, so I always go back to that. It's a very late barrel head delivery, all right, and you see that with really good hitters. The elbow's close to the body, the back elbow's close to the body, the front elbow is working up and out, all right, to give the shoulder the ability to stay on the pitch a little bit longer. And you're starting to see the hands work forward here, and that barrel is still behind the hands. I mean, his hands are all the way over his front hip, moving towards his front knee, and his barrel is still it still hasn't crossed his hands. All right, so that allows him to adapt to a changing pitch trajectory, pitch speed. He's still in the fight regardless of what pitch that is right here because he hasn't yet delivered his hands. Once those hands start to roll and you start to see this with the bat, you can no longer adjust to the different pitches. All right, you've already sold out to your pitch, and if you're perfectly on time, you're still not going to get the amount of backspin you could get if you hit from the inside of the ball. And you hear a lot of people say, get your hands inside the ball, get your hands inside the ball, and that's just an internal cue to think about. But really what that looks like is the barrel shouldn't cross the hands early in the swing. It just really shouldn't. You should be able to fight to get extension, and what I always teach is fight to get extension in this back arm, all right, before the wrist rolls over. All right, that's the big deal here. That's the big idea. The longer you can maintain that position, the more aggressive and the more controlled you can be. All right, if you get the early roll of the wrist, we're going chop to the shortstop, early foul ball, we're wasting a pitch, and we're not getting our work done. All right, so again, you can see a little bit of tilt here in his swing. All right, but it's not a back shoulder dip and drive. All right, that's a pretty tall, solid position there. And again, if you look at the bat barrel here as he starts to deliver, he's keeping the bat barrel tall, bat barrel still tall, bat barrel still tall, and what we're not getting is this really big loop underneath. All right, so he's generating a nice straight bat path that becomes very linear. All right, and everything can drive toward the pitcher here. All right, so same thing goes for Kris Bryant that you see with Josh Donaldson. It's just this idea of hitting in this big window. All right, his bat gets in the zone early, and it stays in the zone a long time. All right, so worst case scenario, he gets blown up by a fastball. All right, the ball gets deep on him, but his barrel's already in the strike zone. He already has a chance to do some damage to that pitch regardless, and then he's going to stay on that line as long as he can. And he doesn't hit that ball completely square. He gets it a little bit off the end, but if he's already working up and out with that bat barrel, and he's not extending through the pitch, getting this extension here, then that's an early rollover, possibly broken bat off the end, and he's going back to the dugout. But instead, great hitters stay in the strike zone, and he's probably standing on second base. All right, so that's Kris Bryant's swing, guys. I like it. I like it a lot just because it's different than some of the swings that you see as far as his start and how wide he is. All right, he's a really tall, lanky guy, so he can really spread out in the box, but he still generates some pretty solid momentum with that load into the back hip, and then shifting slightly forward, but not so much that he's over that front leg. All right, so he does a good job of transferring that force, delivering the bat barrel on time, and getting his work done. So, guys, that's Kris Bryant. Very proficient, and an extremely solid hitter within the Major League system.